The ingenious program is designed under the guidance of Paramahamsa Nithyananda. The ingenious program is a vaccination for higher intelligence, creating the space of possibilities. The physiological and psychological chemistry of the child changes, setting them up for peak performance in health, academics, communication, and leadership skills. The initiation received from the incarnation rewires their brain, enabling them to the peak of possibilities. You will see amazing differences in your child after they attend the ingenious program. You will be pleasantly surprised and ask, is this the same child? In just 21 days, your child is a new being expressing the highest possibilities and intelligence, dropping all violence and anger. The enormous potential inside them begins to manifest externally in all activities they do, and that is when parents start seeing the hidden talents of their children expressing as intelligence in its various forms. You will see the difference in health in case of sick children and also be surprised with the results of special needs children, creating a new avenue for them towards an improved lifestyle. The ingenious program is a leadership program that is a must for every child to move into the new civilization. For the first time, introducing you to you as a new possibility of tomorrow.
His Holiness Paramahamsa Nithyananda is a world-renowned teacher in the science of living enlightenment. As the spiritual head of the oldest apex body of Hinduism, he is revered as a living incarnation of superconsciousness by millions worldwide. His morning satsangs are viewed live in over 30 countries every day on television and video conferencing. The Nithyananda Vidyapeetham is an expression of Nithyananda's vision to mold the new generation into responsible high achievers who represent the best of both Vedic wisdom and contemporary education. Mahant Maharishi Nithya Advaitananda, ordained disciple of Paramahamsa Nithyananda, is directly guided into the Vedic education by him. This parenting session is conducted by Mahant Maharishi Nithya Advaitananda. Mahant Maharishi Nithya Advaitananda is the head of the Nithyananda Vidyapeetham. She is currently guiding several international, urban and local schools and weekend schools around the world. As an educationist with over 10 years of childcare related experience, she has been working in the field of child development and psychology, enriching thousands of children, parents and teachers from all over the world. Ma Advait frequently conducts training in the areas of early childhood growth and development, child psychology, parental psychology, syllabus design, quantum memory activation, multiple intelligence learning techniques, school administration, and much more. Prior to taking up the lifestyle of enriching lives through education, she was a talented IT professional working with Fortune 500 company Cognizant for over 10 years, of which 8 years were in the US, where she specialized in project and technical management roles for various Global 500 companies. She quit her lucrative IT career and became an entrepreneur by starting an international school in Chennai. She holds a Bachelor of Computer Science Engineering, Bachelor and Master's degree in Education, and is still pursuing her education by doing a Master's degree in Psychology.
The ingenious program is designed under the guidance of Paramahamsa Nithyananda. The ingenious program is a vaccination for higher intelligence, creating the space of possibilities. The physiological and psychological chemistry of the child changes, setting them up for peak performance in health, academics, communication, and leadership skills. The initiation received from the incarnation rewires their brain, enabling them to the peak of possibilities. You will see amazing differences in your child after they attend the ingenious program. You will be pleasantly surprised and ask, is this the same child? In just 21 days, your child is a new being expressing the highest possibilities and intelligence, dropping all violence and anger. The enormous potential inside them begins to manifest externally in all activities they do, and that is when parents start seeing the hidden talents of their children expressing as intelligence in its various forms. You will see the difference in health in case of sick children and also be surprised with the results of special needs children, creating a new avenue for them towards an improved lifestyle. The eN-Genius program is a leadership program that is a must for every child to move into the new civilization. For the first time, introducing you to you as a new possibility of tomorrow.
This parenting session is conducted by Maharishi Advait. Maharishi Advait is the head of the Nithyananda Vidyapeetham. She is currently guiding several international, urban and local schools and weekend schools around the world. As an educationist with over 10 years of childcare related experience, she has been working in the field of child development and psychology, enriching thousands of children, parents and teachers from all over the world. Ma Advait frequently conducts training in the areas of early childhood growth and development, child psychology, parental psychology, syllabus design, quantum memory activation, multiple intelligence learning techniques, school administration, and much more. Prior to taking up the lifestyle of enriching lives through education, she was a talented IT professional working with Fortune 500 company Cognizant for over 10 years, of which 8 years were in the US, where she specialized in project and technical management roles for various Global 500 companies. She quit her lucrative IT career and became an entrepreneur by starting an international school in Chennai. She holds a Bachelor of Computer Science Engineering, Bachelor and Master's degree in Education, and is still pursuing her education by doing a Master's degree in Psychology.
We are going to talk about the intelligence part. What is the intelligence actually? I want to be very clear. I'm going very slow because this is a very interesting topic but very difficult topic to explain also. First, I'll define cognition. You are receiving, the eyes are receiving information, the ears are receiving information right now. Right? What we are doing is we have an understanding that you all are there. The cognition, what we are seeing and what we are hearing through our senses, all 5 senses, is what we think is right now the real, right? But there's something more that we need to understand. The way the child sees is not the way we see. The way the child hears is not the way we hear. For example, the dog's whistle. We do not hear the dog's whistle, but the small children are able to listen to those sounds also. They did a test on the children, how they are learning the sounds. And it was so amazing that whatever sound we are used to, we start speaking the language of English, for example. We are used to a pronunciation, an accent, the way we talk and all that. Only those sounds we register again and again and drop the other sound which is not needed. Why I'm taking sound is it's very easy for you also to understand. First part of cognition is only Madhvait is talking. In first part itself, just the sound part itself, how we cognize the sound is not the way the children are able to cognize the sound, receive the sound. When they did a test of how children listen and how we listen, it's very surprising. Even a very intelligent person, so-called the high IQ people are not high IQ people. First, I want to tell you, are the ones who are very good with the sound. They are audio learners. When you are very good with audio learners, your brain is very sharp, according to the outer world. I call outer world is the tests and exams and whatever they did in the school and college. They are usually higher rank kids. That doesn't mean anything, but that's how the schools and colleges rate them very high. So audio learners. So I'm just taking that audio learners who are very good in sound, and they land up, for example, in NASA. We did this in Gurukul itself. We had a person who has worked in NASA. We gave him also to learn a part, and we gave a same child receives information is completely different. When they did a study, what happens is like this. We go to school every day. Then we know very well how we need to walk to the school, right? We don't think, no, this is a new place. So we don't think like how we need to go, what we need to do and all that. Similarly, we are perceiving sound also the same thing. We know, we understand each other. When Madhvit is talking to you, your understanding of the words is much more clear than a child. A child we need to repeat many times because the sound itself is new. Then they have to make meaning of the sound. See, they have to divide the sound into 3 parts. The child receives the information. When they receive the information, we start understanding. Okay, we go to the next phase of understanding. But actually, the child goes through a 3 process of the sound itself. For example, the information that you receive, for example, the word information, you understand immediately in your brain about that you have to receive something, right? For a child, the word information is something which is a sound. It's not a meaning. What you made right now is divided into 3 parts. Are you able to grasp what Madhvit is saying? The sound itself, the word information itself is divided into 3 parts for a child. The word information, just you get it. Oh, she's going to talk about something. For a child, it's not like that. It's like blah, blah, blah. That's all. So first it has to receive that, whatever sound, and understand the accent or the pronunciation that you're doing. Because the same information, when some foreigner says it, it will be completely different. It is not going to be the same way that you and me understand. So they have to understand that, probably they call it dialects, the way they speak. So they have to understand that. And the third part is the meaning. See, for us, everything is one. The word information is divided into 3 for a child, where Madhvit is talking about a very small child, like 2 years, 3 years, when they start the language. You need to understand this for Madhvit to take you where we need to go. Okay? So, the whole thing is about, you need to understand the whole process of receiving information. So first, when we get a word, we just understand and cognize. That means we start processing immediately. And then after the process is done, based on our understanding, then we give out the information, we react to the information or whatever we do. For a child to get that to that point itself, they need to understand the dialects, the sound, and add the meaning. What are you telling about the word information? Then they start, the processing is kind of 0 for them. Whatever they receive, they just hold on to that process. They don't have any idea. And then after that, they move to the output as what they receive. Like, that's why you see small children, when they start learning, for example, they start learning about rhymes, or they start talking. When you say come here, you come here, they will repeat most often, you come here. Are you able to get it? When you say you come here, they will just repeat the same thing. They will not be able to understand that they have to use yes, I will come here, or yes, I am coming. Our dialogue output would be, the after processing, we would say yes mama, I will come here, a bigger kid. For a child, they receive the sound. Since there's no processing happening, they just give back the sound to you just like that. See, why I am saying all this is because first you have to understand the 5 senses, how they process where they are. Then you will understand how the intelligence actually happens. So they actually take, whether it is the eye, whether it is the sound, whether it is the touch, whether it's a smell, they do not have any cognition of these things. They do not have any idea. Like for example, I tell you, blah blah. Will you have any idea? There will be like, what is she talking about? And what that sound, what does that sound represent? You won't understand, right? It's exactly like that for a child. For a child, where they are, they do not understand the whole space where we are. So now what we are receiving information, next processing the information. In the processing of the information, we understand from what we have learned. We always are into understanding the meaning. We understand the whole thing as a meaning, not out of the pure understanding, but as a meaning. For example, I say table. Each one will be thinking about one table which you understand. It will not be the table that really it is, right? Each one will be thinking of a different table. So the meaning what we gives the output. If I ask you to draw a table, each one, you can just right now do it also. Just draw a table. Whatever just came to you, the first thought. Okay, now see the table that is next to you, next to your next person, what they have drawn. It's a very simple exercise, but I just want to say how we understood table is not the way the other person understands table. It's very amazing that how the same table is, each one will be having a tripod, we'll have a huge dining table or a small table, or somebody might not be able to draw, whatever. The whole essence is each one perceives and add our own meaning to what we understand from each word. Just imagine how complicated our brain is. Only what we do is complicated because we are so bored with what to do. We unnecessarily make it like we get a Rubik's Cube. We just mix it up so much that we don't know how to get the original shape. That's exactly what we do with our brain. So the whole understanding also, what we do is kind of give our own meaning to the words. Where kids do not do anything, remain in the silence there. What a space. They remain in the space of listening. Maximum they would know a table will probably have something which if they know about table also, something probably they will think maximum is a square. A very simple diagram. That's the maximum they can go to giving a meaning. Okay, and then the next end of the information is then delivering it. What you just did is you delivered it in a way you understood it from where you received. So what I said as a table and what you drew as a table is completely way different. It's not the same table that I am thinking is what you are receiving. So the space, how intelligence happen. I'll compare the table and the sound. What we did is a table example and what we previously spoke was a sound example. So the sound and the table we are able to understand even more deeper, that how we understand a table is by giving a meaning. But in case of sound, it's more subtler. So what we receive, the word information, and what they receive as information is not same. There is completely difference. We do not listen to the dialects of that. For example, somebody coming from a village and somebody coming from a city, the way they pronounce the word will be completely different. Or somebody coming from Russia would be completely different. We do not listen to those. We immediately come to a conclusion of what we listen. But a child will be confused if they listen to us something new. Even we are confused when we go to a very different country and they are speaking in a very difficult pronunciation they have, and it is very difficult for us to understand. But most often for a kid it's very difficult to understand what you are trying to say, because they store information with all these three. And again when we repeat, they start getting the information and they start repeating the information. So you say, bring the table, they will naturally say, bring the table back to you. That's how a child starts talking. Whatever we say, like a parrot, they start talking back to us. That is how they understand. See, at that point, there is something you have to see here is, where we are processing information, which is zero, silence, listening for them, is where our logic is. We have a very strong belief, very strong belief, that we understand everything better than a child. That's where we get confused. Understand? We understand everything better than a child. A child is not able to understand, but we can understand. Where we have this understanding happening is because we already know something. At one point we didn't know anything, then we started knowing something at one point. Then we started attaching information to what we know and started believing that this link is the link which is going to give us more information. That understanding is where we made a very logical statement to ourselves. We made a statement, declaration, that only when we connect to things which we already know, we will understand everything. See, it's really something to think about. When we take a book, we don't look at the book. We see by word by word by word. Right? But when we go to a room, a big hall, auditorium, you don't go by seat to seat and fan to fan to know where things are. You just scan your face and you know everything pretty much there. But when you take a book, can you scan a book and understand the words? You might say, no, there are too many words for me to grasp, and an auditorium is not like that, and no. But even if you go to I don't want to take an auditorium because it's an arranged place. If you go to a temple, there's so many things and so many people happening. So if you just scan, you know what you want information, you can get it from one scan. But in case of a book, we scan letter by letter. Why I'm saying this example is, for a child, the book is also a picture. Are you able to understand? The book is also a picture. It's not words. Below 5 years, most of the time, there is no words in their brain. They do not understand symbols, words, distance, space the way we understand at all. They do not understand words and symbols unless we reiterate every day, A for apple, B for ball. When we do that, what we are teaching is, don't see the picture, only see component by component. Don't learn things as a whole, but learn things as individual pieces. So when we start teaching not to learn with space and with whole, we miss out many parts, because our cognition, one by one, if I have to go through the room, I'll never able to sit in a room. By the time I find the chair, it will be taking 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, we know where to sit. We just go to the room, we sit in even a new house, we just go there, we know where the chair is, we just sit. We don't scan each and everything and finally come to a chair and say, oh, this is where we have to sit. But in terms of teaching them to read and teaching them to learn, we start going word by word by word. Because of the reason, one day we cognized that only if you attach to what you know, you can understand. You don't think that we understand what we listen. So that is where we had a problem. So the whole problem started with each one understanding becomes a hindrance for themselves. That's why the table what you drew is not the table the next person draws. Because of this simple reason, what we attached and what they attached is completely different. But if a child is asked to draw a table, most often if they are told a table in a class, all of them will draw the same table. No, all of them will cognize the same thing. It's so beautiful how they receive information and how we receive information. And they process information and we process information.